Welcome. All right. Olga is exceptional at assessing and crafting solutions to address public policy gaps that affect millions of people. You've heard about the gap that we have between the cooperatives and the people who need cooperatives. She's very good at that. She uniquely and effectively leads teams to combine critical thinking, stakeholder engagement, policy economy analysis, policy advocacy, and communications to deliver results across the public-private divide, drawing from over 10 years of experience to just be able to do this. So when we tell you she is exceptional at it, it's not a lie, it's proven. In her current role, she works with global communities. She has successfully and skillfully led the cooperatives policy and legislative strategy for the USAID CLEAR program, which is now being implemented in 28 of Kenya's 47 counties. I'm hoping she will share with us the counties that they have covered so that the people in this call who are not in the counties that have not been covered know what to do. She has been instrumental in streamlining global communities' objectives and enhancing its productivity for top-notch results, bringing to the fore her remarkable leadership qualities and relatability. She is a master's graduate in public policy management from the prestigious Strathmore University Business School. So she's not here to play. There is no doubt that she brings great knowledge and experience to whichever sector she works in, and carries with her valuable insights and networks sought after by public policy practitioners and organizations interested in reforms and results. For Olga, family is important, and she unwinds with a blend of family, good food, and great music. Let me ask this, am I the only one, or does food always come up in these conversations we are having? Every time somebody has something to do with food. So if you want Olga to relax as you give her your pitch, take her to a good restaurant. And then call Velona also and take her to a good restaurant. So the two of them can be discussing food as you give them your pitch, and lo and behold, they will be like, yes, we can do that. Now, that one I've given you people for free. I won't even charge you for that tip. All right. So now, let us put our hands together and welcome Olga Oyier. And she speaks to us about, ecosystem builders, and more specifically about cooperatives and the advantages. Welcome, Olga, over to you.
Thank you very much, Josephine, for that, and all the speakers who've gone before me. I was just taking notes and just saying, okay, so everything that I'm going to say has been covered, but it was well covered and a lot of flavor has been brought to it. Let me start by just sharing my screen. I'd like to just talk through a few slides, just so that we have something to look at as I'm sharing what I prepared for today. Josephine, please let me know if you can see my screen.
We can see it? Yeah, there. Good enough.
Awesome. All right. So let me just start off. I've been introduced already and I won't go into that, but as global communities and specifically the USAID funded Clear Plus project, we are so excited and delighted to be part of this. To be part of this year's ASEB, the Africa Startup Ecosystem Builders Summit and Awards. Why? Because we believe in ecosystem development and development of market systems for sustainability. And so thank you very much for inviting us here. I'm so honored and privileged to be working also with Pamela, who was in the panel discussion that just ended, and also Mike Kipngeno, who presented on the worker cooperative model earlier on in the summit series. Let's start off by reflecting. Arthur Ashe, And this is related to what Kuresha mentioned about doing what you can in the space you are. And it aligns with what Arthur Ashe said. And he said, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. And I feel this resonates a lot with, entrepreneurs and those working within the startup ecosystem, because you may assume that it's other people to act or to do something, but where you are, there's something you can do to transform the ecosystem. So start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Briefly about Global Communities. Global Communities is an international NGO. We have been in existence for over 60 years. Over 60 years, we work in over 30 countries across the divide of sustainable development, humanitarian assistance, financial inclusion, and in some contexts, we work in the area of peace. So we have been around, we work in 5 continents and doing different things. In Kenya, we've been here since 2005, formerly known as the Cooperative Housing Foundation, because we have our roots within the cooperative housing space. But over time, and given the interventions that we were doing in different communities, our name transformed to Global Communities. And really, just as the name says, we work closely with communities and go in with bearing the respect and dignity that communities know where the shoe hurts, they know where the pain points are, and they know what the possible solutions will be to the problems that exist, but just need maybe global perspectives or a catalyst to move towards advancing equity and strong futures, and as well as saving lives. So in Kenya, currently we have 3 portfolios. USAID Clear, literally closed last week. We're wrapping it up. But Clear Plus, USAID Clear Plus is a follow-on program from Clear. And we'll be reflecting shortly about what that, how that ties in with everything, just building on what Mike and Pamela had already shared without repeating what they said. The other program that we have is AfriScout, and AfriScout is technology-based. It's an app that's used by communities in the arid and semi-arid areas to provide alerts on security issues or weather patterns and where there is grazing land, so that even as the nomadic communities move, their movement is strategic and towards actual grazing land for their livestock. So the USAID Clear program, just when you mentioned 28 counties, we trained 28 counties and 264 officers graduated in the public policy making process. And this is, our focus was on the cooperative, county cooperative departments. We have also engaged 40 counties in the public policy making space about legislative process, legislative reforms, inclusivity for youth, women, persons with disability within the cooperative space. And then we managed to support, more than, we supported 21 counties to draft their legislation. I don't have the list of counties now, but I'm happy to share that with you, Josephine, later, should you need the counties list. But in part of what we do in development, we don't want to create a crutch for people. And so part of in our interventions, there's an element of cost share. And working with counties and the worker cooperatives that we've been able to work with, alongside a few producer and housing cooperatives, we were able to mobilize cost share of over $442,000 during the period of the 5 years of programming. The USAID I just want to reflect a little bit because we are funded by USAID, and it's important to know, as Pamela said, access to information is very important. And so the USAID has, in Washington, has a program called the Cooperative Development Program, which is CDP. And the Cooperative Development Program is implemented globally by the 10 organizations that you see on the screen. And out of the 10, and then the center organization is the US Overseas Cooperative Development Council that kind of brings us together, is charged with lobbying Congress for more funding for cooperative development work. In Kenya, we have these 6 partners who are implementing the Cooperative Development Program. I take the moment to share this because while we are under the same umbrella program, each of these implementing partners has specific activities that they implement. Genex is working within the dairy sector to increase productivity, and using genetics also to genetic methods to improve productivity of dairy cattle. Global communities, I've mentioned. Health partners are increasing access to the social health insurance fund within the cooperative movement. NCBA CLUSA are working within the policy space alongside us, and also working with dairy cooperatives in Nandi and in Meru. And the World Council of Credit Unions, WOCU, is working with SACCOs, the credit unions in Kenya, and boosting some financial technology, fintech, within that space. The OCDC also does research in Kenya within the cooperative development space and coordinates some of our activities in terms of research and learning. Don't worry, I'll make a segue into the Startup Hub, but I'm just sharing information. I think this is the last slide on what we do. So now Clear Plus. In the next, so from 2023 to 2028, we'll be implementing this program in Kenya and in Guatemala. Basically, in Kenya, we're at the tail end of implementation, having been here since 2016 when we piloted, 2016 to 2018, and then did the CLEAR program. Guatemala are where Kenya was 7 years ago. And so they're taking a lot of the learning and the lessons from Kenya to spur the cooperative, worker cooperative model, and then also to work on their policy as well. So we're looking at scaling the model, engaging more youth, developing toolkits for startup worker cooperatives and supporting them, and then scaling the policy interventions that we've had. The worker cooperative model fits across all the productive sectors of the economy. One of the largest journalists worker cooperative in the US is made up of, it's a media worker cooperative, is made up of journalists who came together to form a worker cooperative. Golf caddies can form a worker cooperative. So that's when you look at sports. We have a worker cooperative in the tourism sector, the mechanical sector, domestic workers, accountants, lawyers. So it just goes across all the productive sectors. And so in this period, we'll be looking to scale that. So we say that for an ecosystem to thrive, there must be continuous collaboration, learning, and adaptation. The USAID provides a model for collaboration, learning, and adaptation. We call it CLA. Because, and it ties in with what Josephine mentioned, connections, opportunities, and access. So collaborations looks at mapping all your players within the ecosystem. You have your development partners, programs like ours, or donors like USAID. You have your government stakeholders, you have your startups, the startups themselves. You have your potential customers, you have the ecosystem builders, and then you also have the citizenry who affect pretty much your operational environment. Have you taken time to map who your stakeholders are, what are their interests, who has the influence, who has the power, so that you know how you're creating strategic collaborations. When it comes to learning, every day is a new day and there's innovation going on every day in every sector. How much time are you taking to learn your ecosystem and to adapt? Because when you take time to pause and reflect on what's working, what's not working, how do we change, where are the trends, then you're able to adapt with the new needs in the business environment. You're able to adapt to new regulations and the like. I'll pause here and also reflect on some of the aspects that were spoken about in terms of policy and, legislation and the like. Recently in Kenya, during the period of our finance bill, we saw our Gen Zs go out and really do a lot of advocacy, lobbying, created content in different local languages, and broke down the finance bill for non-legal people to understand what are the problems, what are the opportunities, what do we need to do. Maybe there are those who felt it was a problem. For me, I saw such a great opportunity in terms of skill, talent, knowledge, and that could be a new area that could be explored as entrepreneurs, because we have the public participation processes that are mandated for every law. Every law is required to do public participation at national and county level. And the government can't do everything. But if there are these groups or businesses that can come up to repackage information in simpler content, I'm sure it's something that even development partners could pick up and see how to support with time. So for an ecosystem to grow, we need to have collaboration, learning, and adaptation going on as a continuous process. The elements of an ecosystem, first of all, I see this as layers, or you could look at it as a target with different circles, or as an onion. With an onion, the closer you get to the core, the more stingy it is, or the richer the flavor is, depending on how you perceive it. But looking at the environmental issues, value-driven businesses, the attitude and culture, looking within, and some of the cultures that Kuresha was talking about in terms of looking at your HR policy and your culture within as a business. That's environmental, and it's important to do. The next important level is looking at what are your business support systems? What's your connection to the market? What is the policy environment saying, and how does it affect you? And are you plugged in to bring in your voice into the advocacy for a better enabling environment for your business or within your ecosystem? And then what's also essential is now, of course, I'm biased to cooperatives, but in this phase of my life, but look at it within the space that you're in. It's essential to have the skills and capacity as a business. And the summit has taken time to build your capacity in 4 key areas. Then looking at financing and funding, that was covered as well. Who are the developers? Who are the ecosystem developers in this case? And are you tapped in? And what technical assistance do you need? And do you know who your linkages are to get that technical assistance? So in that spirit, I applaud the ecosystem learning labs that have taken you through these 4 key learning areas that you're able to deep dive into. And we appreciate being part of the beginning of the process and speaking about the worker cooperative model. So ecosystem builders, what do? They build relationships, identify resources, and navigate hurdles alongside entrepreneurs. And finally, they help entrepreneurs reach their goals to start, grow, scale their businesses with time. And so what's the benefit of this? What's the benefit, and why are we here? Why are we bothered about the ecosystem? Why are we even going into having a summit and awards? And I hope I capture McKevin's dream and aspirations through these icons that I've put here. One is to increase collaboration. I can't overemphasize that. And two, it shortens your time to get to market because you're already plugged in with people. Your learning curve is shortened because you're given the information that you need. You're pointed to opportunities and you're connected to those you need to be connected to. The next thing that ecosystem builders help with is providing more choice and flexibility. And you spoke about scaling. Look beyond your national context. Look regionally. Look globally. Think bigger, and build stronger relationships. And most importantly, it provides for better brand recognition because you want to grow to a point. Nowadays, when you see the tick, what comes to your mind is Nike. Sometimes they don't even need to, when you see the red envelope, Safaricom or M-Pesa comes to your mind and the like. So with time, you want your brand to be recognized and to grow. Just the way within our circles, the SME Founders Association brand has grown to be known within our space as well. So I'd like to just acknowledge all the partners that have taken time and effort to plan this over the last couple of months and to bring us to where we are today. Congratulations to all of you participants for walking this summit journey over the entire month of August. And congratulations to many congratulations to our finalists for making it this far. So with that, I'd like to just conclude by thanking you all for sharing this moment with us and for giving me an opportunity to speak. I look forward to connecting with you all at some point or another. And this picture just speaks to one of the worker cooperatives. They're in educational entertainment or edutainment as they speak. So the photo is as dramatic as the profession that they've chosen and their youth. So thank you very much. And we look forward to the continued collaborations. Back to you, Josephine.
Wow. Thank you so much, Olga. Thank you so much.